Hey, what's happening? I just wanted to do a quick vlog and just kind of reflect on the things that have happened over the past few days. As you know, we've lost three great superstars. First of all, we lost Ed McMahon on Tuesday, lost Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson yesterday. And before we get to Michael Jackson, I just wanted to reflect a little bit on Ed McMahon and Farrah Fawcett. Now, Ed McMahon, a lot of you younger guys probably won't remember him too much, because he was Johnny Carson's sidekick on the Tonight Show, and I remember watching him then. He used to do that "Here's Johnny," and I can't even do it like he did. It was amazing how he did that. He perfected that, and he was Johnny Carson's sidekick, and they had a real good chemistry together there. Really, talented two individuals. And not only that, he did the show Star Search, which for those of you who aren't familiar with that, that was almost like probably the show that inspired American Idol. I mean, it was people went on there and showcase their talents. I think Britney Spears got her start on there, and a countless number of others, but Ed McMahon did a good job on that as well. But I think one of the best things he ever did was helping Jerry Lewis host the annual Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon. And you'll find it every every Labor Day weekend, starting on Sunday night and rolling into Labor Day. And I don't think that the telethon this year is going to be the same without him. Even Jerry Lewis said that, because it was, there was like a tradition every year. Labor Day, Jerry Lewis is always like a big thing. Watching that telethon and always watching Ed McMahon there right beside it. Them cracking up on the screen and stuff like that. There was a real great chemistry there. So, definitely the Jerry Lewis telethon will not be the same. So, Ed McMahon definitely will be missed, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Now, Farrah Fawcett. She passed away yesterday. Of course, we pretty much knew that was going to be happening before too long. We knew she wasn't going to last too much longer because, she had cancer and she was beginning to look a little bit frail. And at least the last images I saw of her, she didn't look too good. But very talented actress. She was on Charlie's Angels, and she did a countless number of movies. And I'll tell you what, one of my favorite movies that she ever did was called The Burning Bed. And for those of you younger guys, you may not really be familiar with what that is. I encourage you to Google that movie and see if you can find it. And watch it whenever you can. It was a made-for-TV movie back in 1984, and Farrah Fawcett plays a lady who got abused by her husband, and in the end, she ends up getting the kids out of the house, and she pours gasoline all over the bed while he's sleeping and catches him on fire. And it was actually based on a true story. She was found not guilty for that too. So you may want to Google that. Again, it's called The Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. It was a really good movie. And really, hits home with a lot of domestic abuse and things like that that you see a lot of nowadays. So anyway, she was a lady to try to take the law into her own hands, and evidently did a good job on that. So yeah, check that out. It's called The Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. But again, Farrah Fawcett definitely one to be missed. I mean, very talented actress, and she did a lot of good for the entertainment industry as well. Now let's talk a little bit about Michael Jackson. I'm going to go ahead and put on one of his tunes while I talk a little bit about him. Okay. Michael Jackson, I know a lot of you guys, I'm going to kind of reiterate a little bit about what Brian S. Red said in his vlog that he recorded last night. But Michael Jackson was definitely a pop superstar. And when they talk about him being the king of pop, they're not lying about that. He really was. I mean, back in the mid-'80s, when Thriller came out, that was the #1 selling album of all time then. And I think it even still is. And everybody was doing the moonwalk, and I mean, you couldn't turn on a radio without hearing, Beat It or Thriller. And I mean, I still get a lot of requests for Thriller nowadays. You watch my gig logs, you're going to see it on there. It was just a really popular song, and even at school dances nowadays, the kids nowadays are really into that song, and it's amazing that Michael Jackson still, after all these years, is still generating a lot of interest because of his music. Now I know a lot about the tabloids, about the sexual molestation charges and things like that, which he was acquitted for. You talk about things like that. Well, this is just my whole thoughts on that, okay? Nothing was ever proven as far as that goes. I generally think Michael Jackson was a good person. I really do. I think he cared a lot about people. And I'll give you an example. I was watching our local news last night, and they were reflecting on when Michael Jackson came to Pensacola. And I didn't really catch the whole story, but this is kind of the gist of it that I got. But apparently, back in the early 80s, actually probably early to mid-80s, there was a student here. She was an elementary school student, and she was dying of cancer or something. I forget what it was, but she had to go somewhere to have an operation done, which would probably cure her. And her family didn't have the money. Her teacher knew that she liked Michael Jackson and wrote Michael Jackson a letter and sent it to him. And he called her up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he said, well, I got a concert I'm doing in Atlanta, and next night, and a couple nights later, I've got one I'm doing in Miami. He said, now I tell you what I'll do. I'll come down and do a concert in Pensacola on my night off, free of charge, and all proceeds will go to benefiting this young lady to, get her the operation that she needs. And so Michael Jackson did that. He went ahead and performed his concert in Atlanta. And our sports director, our local TV station, he said that he was waiting at Atlanta airport, and he said that all of a sudden the security came in and cleared everybody out and said, okay, we need everybody just to move out of the way. And they put Michael Jackson on a commercial airplane. And he said that he wanted to fly from Atlanta to Pensacola commercially. He didn't want to fly on a private jet. So our sports director, our local TV station, he got to ride with Michael Jackson, fly down from Atlanta to Pensacola back in the mid-'80s, and he said that was quite an accomplishment. But anyway, Michael Jackson went to our Civic Center and performed that concert, and the money went to the young girl. And from what I understand, I think she's still alive today. Like I said, I just caught bits and pieces of it, but that was the gist I got up. That just shows, Michael Jackson really did care about people, and I was pretty amazed when I found that out. But he was a great superstar. I mean, great music, and I think his music is definitely going to live on. And we just wish his family well as they're going through this difficult time, and everybody well. We all mourn a little bit when somebody like this passes. We can't feel the full effect like the families do, but we do definitely feel a sense of loss, and I think the music industry has definitely lost someone very special. And a lot of people are comparing it to Elvis or when John Lennon was killed. And my whole thoughts on that is I guess you could say that. Because a lot of people nowadays weren't alive when Elvis was killed, so I guess to them, maybe, this is the same magnitude as Elvis passing away was. Maybe Michael Jackson was their Elvis. I guess it just depends on, which generation you're from, but definitely suffered a definite loss in the music industry yesterday with Michael Jackson. And I know Michael Jackson will live on. I'll still continue to play his music, and, we look forward to him living on in the music industry, and I know his videos get a lot of hits on YouTube, and I don't think that's ever going to die. Even though Michael's gone, his memory and his music will still live on. So that's where I'm going to leave this, and until next time, practice and enjoy.